I've also got senior GBNews contributor Tim Montgomerie. Our business and economics editor Liam Halligan joins me. It's a proper panel, this, people. I'll go political, then I'll go economic. So, Tim, I'll start with you and we'll work our way back down the line. Truss didn't look great.
Almost like a
ghost.
Worried about her. Almost like a ghost, Patrick. And we shouldn't forget this massive political and economic high drama here.
Yeah.
But I think we're witnessing something of a personal tragedy.
Yeah.
As well. We're seeing someone who only a few weeks ago became Prime Minister. And look, many viewers will be saying, well, she brought all this upon herself, and maybe she did. Others will be more sympathetic. But the fact is, this is public humiliation on a grand scale. And any normal person would be affected by this, and she does look like she's really battered.
Yeah, it was hard to watch at times.
It really was.
Reem, a poll dropped about 23 minutes ago that showed that Labour were some 36 points ahead in the polls at the minute. Quite shocking, really.
Of course it's shocking. I mean, we're looking at these polls at the moment, and we're looking at, with Jeremy Hunt's statement, we're seeing that the economics is pretty similar to what we had about 7 weeks ago. The only difference is now that we haven't got Boris Johnson, so we haven't got that charismatic party leader, and so we're seeing these significant drops in the polls. So nothing's changed in terms of economic policy. We're back to square one, back to that 70-year high in the tax burden. But now what we have instead is a significant drop in the polls and pretty much an easy Labour win at the next election.
And Tim, what do you reckon to Penny Mordaunt's performance at the dispatch box there? She did look quite prime ministerial, it must be said.
She looked good, but I think that line that she dwelt on, the Prime Minister's not hiding under a desk. Now, if you want people to think of an image, you do not plant that image in people's heads.
Yeah, like, don't think of a pink elephant.
Exactly. And if I was a Truss supporter in Downing Street, I wouldn't be happy that Penny Mordaunt left that image hanging in people's minds. That was a bit naughty.
A little bit naughty. Liam Halligan, there we go. He's been sitting here the whole time watching all of Jeremy Hunt's speech there. What do you make of that, then? I mean, is he now the steady hand on the tiller?
I'd like to just endorse Tim's comments about the personal tragedy that we're seeing. I mean, I've been WhatsApping my kids today. They follow politics a bit and saying, look, we can all be really cynical about politics, but most people come into politics to do good, to do the right thing. Some people go a bit by the wayside, but this is going to be really hard for the Prime Minister. She is a human being, whatever your sort of political animus. A few little policy things I thought came out of the questioning there of Jeremy Hunt, Patrick. The first was he was asked whether or not the pensions triple lock would be honoured. That'll be important to lots of our viewers and listeners. And he said, he's not going to write the budget now. He can't guarantee that that's going to happen. What does that mean? The triple lock means that pensions should be going up in April by the rate of inflation in September, which is 9.9%, because that's what happened in April 2022 when pensions only went up by the previous September's inflation, which was 3.1%, by which time inflation was much higher. If the Tories don't follow through on that pensions triple lock, there will be a lot of very, very angry voters and Conservative activists. The other little policy thing I picked out, just listening there, Jeremy Hunt was asked by Tobias Ellwood, of course, who's part of the Defence Select Committee, very, very close to our armed services, whether or not he could guarantee the 3% of GDP defence spending, this new limit. Very much a centrepiece of Liz Truss's policy platform, obviously influenced by the strong support by the government for the Ukrainian troops and so on, and concerns about Russian belligerence. And it was a very cryptic answer, I thought, which I think canny reporters may pick up on in the newspapers. The duty of any country is security to our citizens in all senses of the word. Now, that's not just military security. He's also talking about financial security and stability. So I thought that was less than a guarantee, even though we know Jeremy Hunt is very much pro this. He spent ages as a backbencher campaigning for a 3% of GDP defence spending minimum. And now I thought he just sprinkled a little bit of doubt on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just in terms, Reem, of Truss's ability or legitimacy, really, to carry on. I mean, she walked in to the Commons late than expected. She sat down there, looked a bit out of it, to be honest with you, and then got up and left 29 minutes later whilst her Chancellor, a new Chancellor, essentially politically castrated her other Chancellor in the House of Commons. Can she carry on like this?
No, I don't think so. I think, look, if it looks like a coup and sounds like a coup, it probably is a coup. And, you know, what we're seeing at the moment now, we saw Liz Truss sort of walk in. I want to echo those comments about her concern for
I hope she's all right.
her sort of personal well-being. But also, she walked in looking like a ghost. And she said, to my understanding, it's a result of parliamentary procedure that she couldn't then go up and sort of answer questions herself. But we had the Leader of the House of Commons, Penny Mordaunt, answering the urgent questions. Then you had a statement from Jeremy Hunt, our Chancellor, and Liz Truss walked in and walked out without saying a word. I mean, obviously it's a result of parliamentary procedure, but, you know, the optics around that aren't very good.